Okay, right. Let's go on to this question, capacity constraint. And this question is really, this whole area is really looking at situations where we do not have enough of certain raw materials, but we need to sort of find out what we can work with. So first of all, the point here is I actually think these are good questions because they just get you calculating first of all. So let's look at it. It says that look at the capacity constraints. We'll talk about that in a second, but let's see what we actually have. So it says to make a unit of this product, you will need um, a kilogram of material, 40 minutes of direct time, of labor time, sorry, forgive me, 40 minutes of direct labor time, 5 minutes of machine time, and you have demand. So the demand out there, people want 1,700 units, but these are the raw materials that you have. So the question first of all just asks, first of all, um, how many um, you have enough material to make how many units? Pretty straight. So you have 2,500 kilograms available, right? I think I actually have a sheet here. You have 2,500 kilograms available. And if you need 1 kilogram to make each unit, I suppose that's sort of straight that you need 2,500 over 1, which is 2,500 units, right? Great stuff. That's the first thing. So I could write here 2,500 units. Then it says here that we have 420, talks about direct labor. So we have 420 hours available to make all the units, but it takes 40 minutes to make each unit. So I suppose I could turn all this into minutes and divide, because if it's taking 40 minutes to make one unit, right, then that would naturally be 420 times 60 divided by 40. And when you do that, 420 times 60 divided by 40, you're having 630 units. 630 units. 630 units. Okay, great. Now we're talking about machine time. So we need 5 minutes of machine time to make each unit, and you have 120 hours of machine time available. So 120 hours times 60, which is in minutes, divided by 5, because that's total amount of minutes you have. And you have 5 minutes, and you have 120 times 60 divided by 5. And then that means you can make 1,440 units. Cool. Wow, look at that. 1,440. So it says, um, without overtime, so if you don't decide to go for any hours, well, if you just decide to work as you are right now, the maximum you're going to be able to make, I'll just change my pen color, right, is, well, because once you've used the current labor that you have, well, you can only make 630 units. You can't make any more because you have finished utilizing the labor available to you here. And the question is, you can't go out there and get any more overtime. But in terms of restrictions, the point is if you could go out there and get more overtime, right? Great, you can get as much overtime as you want, and you would make as many units as you can. But then, hey, what's the next restriction? And I suppose that's the argument with bottlenecks. Every time you will have restrictions, and I'm actually going to use this question to teach this idea of capacity. So, for example, you go out there, get as much labor. Then the question here is, what is the next restriction? And the next restriction here is 1,440 because you don't have enough machines, even though you have all this labor hanging around. So that restriction becomes 1,440. Imagine you go and get more machines. You get as many machines as you can. Well, if you think about it, the next restriction actually becomes demand, because nobody wants any more, even though you could go along and make as many as you want, but the demand is actually 1,700. So unless you then decide to, you know what, you're going to go out there and find new markets, and you can see how this carries on, and then you suddenly realize that, okay, then you're going to have to get to the point where you don't have enough material, and then you're going to have to get material, and you can just keep on going with this whole. So the question is, where do you stop? So hopefully that answers this question, 45. And just coming out of that, that should now help you answer 45. 46 is exactly the same. I suspect these are the only ones. Yeah, 45 and 46. Cool, great stuff. And that should help you with those questions.